Round 21 of the NRL kicks off on Thursday night with a very exciting clash with the Sydney Roosters fighting for that top 8 spot to secure it up against the Brisbane Broncos, who lost to the Tigers last week and are at risk of losing a spot in the top 4. It's a huge game. It's a huge round. Let's get into my NRL tips. As I mentioned, the Roosters will face the Broncos at the SCG. Last time this happened, it was a farewell match for, I can't remember if it was Jake Friend or Mitchell Orbison, someone for the Roosters, big farewell match. The Broncos ended up winning the game 13+, and this is a very different Bronco to the team we've seen. The Broncos, they lost to the Tigers last week. I did tip the West Tigers. I tipped it quite a while ago. It was one of the upsets of the year, so commends to myself for that one. I'm pretty proud that I did tip the Tigers. I went with it. I thought, I'm going mad here, but I said it weeks ago, backed it in. And obviously Luke Brooks, they look like a much better team without him, look more composed. But enough about the Tigers, we'll speak about them later. As for the Bronco, Jordan Riki, I think Jordan Riki's been in some really good form. He's going under the radar, scoring tries. Loved his silencer celebration. He looks like he's having a lot of fun out there. Tessie Nu is doing a great job at fullback. I said defensively against the Eels, he was good. Probably wasn't at his best against the Tigers, but he is at fullback once again for this game. Who else can we speak about? Not too much to speak about. Payne Haas was great as well. As always, he was good. But the Sydney Roosters, they had the expectation of flogging Manly, which is what I tipped last week. And Manly stuck in there. Manly lost the game by 10 points. They had a lot of players out. The Roosters had a bit of a test. They had played against some weaker opposition, in my opinion. I still wasn't convinced with that 56 points that they scored against the Dragons. It was kind of that period where they scored on the back of players like Joey Manu. So, look, the Roosters for mine, I can't really get the best read on them right now. You've got Lindsay Collins out, and you've got Egan Butcher out for this clash for the Broncos. Patrick Carrigan is out, and Selwyn Cobbo returns. Tamari Martin in jersey number 18. Deloise Hoyter in jersey number 21, with Dane Mariner in the centres. And that looks like about it. As for the bench, that's about it. Palacia, Terrell May for the Roosters. So yeah, massive clash at the SCG. The Roosters have had a good record at the SCG, but the Broncos obviously went last year and pulled off the upset. The Broncos are coming off a loss. They're a team that I can see probably making the top 4. So it's a very hard game to tip, but I'm going to go the Roosters here. I'm going to go the Roosters. I think the Roosters will learn a lot from last year. I think they'll remain calm, composed. I like them to win this game. I like the value at $1.70 at the moment as well. I'm going to go the Roosters by 10. I reckon they'll win the game 24 points to 14. I don't think Angus Crichton has had the best season overall, so I'm going to back Angus Crichton to score the first try of the match, and I'm going to go with the Roosters by 10, 24 points to 14. I definitely could see the Broncos getting up. I'm terrible at tipping Thursday night games for some reason, but I am going to go with the Roosters to win. The second game sees the Melbourne Storm, who got back in their winning ways against the New Zealand Warriors. Very unconvincing win, 24 points to 12. They will play the Titans, who are sitting in 16th. They are officially last on the ladder at the moment, but they are scoring points. They scored 24 points against the Canberra Raiders at home. So, look, this is a side that's really fighting and scoring a lot of points, even though they're just not getting wins together. Greg Marzhew returns for the Titans in jersey number 14. It looks like Toby Sexton has been ruled out, potentially in reserve grade. I don't know where he's gone wrong, but Tanner Boyd in the 7 with AJ Brimps in the 6. I'll tell you what, Tanner Boyd probably had one of the best games, if not the best game of his career last week. He was playing a bit of hooker when Aaron Booth kind of took on more of a utility role. And I thought Tanner Boyd was really, really good. I thought he was one of the best players in the field the other day, so I want to give a rap to him. Jaden Campbell at fullback, and that looks like about it for that side. As for the Melbourne Storm, Brandon Smith is back. He's in jersey number 14. Nick Meaney and Justin Olam are out for this one. Xavier Coates has been named as a late potential chance to play in jersey number 20. And it looks like that's about it. Nelson Nafasofa-Solomono, who shouldn't be playing, in my opinion. Obviously playing, avoiding suspension. So, yeah. Look, Tyrone Wishart at fullback, I don't think it's the best choice. I actually thought David Nofaluma might play at fullback. I had a feeling David Nofaluma, who is on the wing, the new recruit, I'm just going to say it now. I'm going to take David Nofoaluma first try scorer. I think he's a try scoring machine, and I think he can kick off his try scoring at Melbourne. So David Nofoaluma, first try scorer. Look, I was tempted to go the Storm 1-12 here, but I just think being back at Amy Park, coming off a win, they'll have a little bit of confidence. I don't think they'll blow the Titans out of the water by 20 to 30 points like some people are probably going to tip, but I'm going to go the Storm by 14. I think they'll win 13 plus. I think they will be lucky to win 13 plus, but I'm going to go the Storm 30 to 16. I think the Titans are a team that can score plenty of points, and they can do it against the Storm. Teams are doing it, so I'm going to go with 30 to 16 as my scoreline, and David Nofoaluma, first try scorer, the Storm to go back-to-back. This game is a game that I will be at. It is the Manly Sea Eagles at Brookvale taking on the Parramatta Eels. Now, the Manly Sea Eagles are coming off a loss to the Roosters. They are fighting for a top 8 spot. They're about $5, I think, to make the top 8. They're a chance, but it's a bit of a worry for the Seagulls at the moment with players returning, the Manly 7 as you may call them. Ben Travojevic, he returns. I don't believe he was part of the Manly 7 though. Tui Pilotu, Ola Kalatu, Jason Saab. Josh Schuster has been named in jersey 18, so he's on the reserve. Tutua Kola, Tufua Sipley, and then out you've got Peter Secker, Alfred Smalley, Zach Fulton, who made his debut last week, and James Seguiaro. As for the Parramatta Eels, Mitchell Moses is out with a broken finger requiring surgery. He kicked a 40-20 at the start of the second half. He broke his finger in the first half, so well done for playing on and getting the win. And I'll tell you what, I'm not going to say much more about it, but everyone's just saying Parramatta beat a 12-man Panthers side. Let's not forget that Parramatta were leading 12 points to 4 and applying pressure to Penrith in key moments of this game with Nathan Cleary trying to kick a 40-20, Mitchell Moses kicking one, then backing it up to start the second half. It was wasteful, and it wasn't the best second half. I will agree with you on that, but you can't say that Penrith 100% win this game if Nathan Cleary plays, because he was on that field and they were down by 8 points. That's all I'm going to say on that. As for this team, Jacob Arthur has been named in the number 7. Now, there's been a lot of criticism on this young fella. Jacob Arthur, go and watch his try against the Warriors last year at Suncorp Stadium. I think the game for me, where I think he struggled, was the Sydney Roosters game at Mackay last year. Now, I've gone and rewatched that game. I've rewatched it. I've analysed it. Some of the kicks weren't fantastic, but some of the kicks were. And there was one that led to a Tom Opacek knock-on. You can't blame Jacob Arthur for the knock-ons that are happening, and the kicks themselves are good. And if players can get up, like we saw Isaiah Papali'i going up, contesting for the ball against those players, then we can potentially win this game. I know we go into it as underdogs because of the inconsistency in our side, but I want to mention potential that Hayes Perham could move to fullback, and Jacob Arthur is carrying an injury. So Gutherson is a talk to move into the 6, and then Dylan Brown to move into the 7. But wait and see if that happens. If it doesn't happen though, guys, no booing Jacob Arthur. Do not boo him. I promise you, I don't want to hear it. It's something that it frustrates me, and I can see so many Para fans jumping on these pages, getting behind him. It's his shot, and I love it. I love the support that he's getting. This is a big test for us. We need to win this game. We have to win this game. We are now at risk of losing the top 8 spot. It is crazy to think at the start of the season it could happen, but it could happen, and this is a game that we must win. So Jacob Arthur in the 7, good luck to you. That's all I'm going to say on that. As for this game, I am going to tip Para. I think Parramatta winning against Penrith will give them a lot of confidence. I have watched Jacob's highlights as well, and I think that whether he plays or whether Gutherson plays, I think this is a team that can win. I think we win it in the forward pack as well. I think Junior Paulo is slightly better than Sipley. Sipley's a great player, don't get me wrong, but players like Junior Paulo running up against those. And then the bench, you've got Martin Tapau, who is rumoured to be leaving the club, so you don't know what the type of mindset is going to be for a player like that. But it will be a close game. I'm going to go with the Eels by 10. I'm going to go 26 points to 16. I'm going to go Junior Paulo to score first. I got a feeling the big fella, Junior Paulo, it's been a while since I backed one of my own big boys to score. Junior Paulo is going to score a try in this game. And I'll tell you what, Jacob Arthur's going to score a try. I think if Jacob Arthur plays, I think he's the type of running half, your Dylan Brown type of half, rather than your Mitchell Moses kicking composed. Dylan controls the kicking, Reed might control the kicking, and Jacob Arthur to have a field day running. So I'm going to go the Eels by 10. This game is the South Sydney Rabbitohs. This game is at the Sunshine Coast going up against the New Zealand Warriors. Now the Rabbitohs are coming off a 1-point loss last week in Golden Point to the Cronulla Sharks. Now I tipped the Rabbitohs and I thought they played okay, but I'll tell you what, a lot of calls refereeing wise went the Rabbitohs way in this game, and the Sharks were kind of refereed to a point out of the game. And I honestly don't think it should have gone to golden point. I think it was a Cronulla victory, a well-earned victory, but the Rabbits hung in there to their credit towards the end. Thomas Burgess is out due to suspension, so their bench is Mark Nichols, Blake Taff, Davey Mole, and Havili. Taff getting the bench spot. Daniel Suluku for Feeder is in jersey number 10. And that's about it. As for the Warriors, Chanel Harris-Tavita and Jazz Tavaga are out for this clash. Jack Murchie has been named in the second row with Aaron Penne at lock. Tohu Harrison 10. I can't really see any more changes besides that. Dynamis Louis has been named in the reserve. Look, I think Souths are very hot and cold. Souths are a very hard team again to get a read on. They hung in there against the Sharks. They lost the game by 1. Probably blame Latrell Mitchell for the field goal attempts, but I just wasn't impressed. And I tipped South Sydney as well, but I wasn't impressed. And I didn't think they looked like at any point they were going to win that game. I'm going to go the Rabbits here to bounce back, but I think they'll win 1-12. I really do. So I'm going to go the Rabbits 26 to the Warriors 14. So the Rabbitohs by 12. I could see them snatching a 16 to 18 point victory, but I don't think they'll put, say, a 30-point margin win over the Warriors. I think the Warriors can fight, and they play pretty well in Queensland, the Warriors. So I'm going to go the Rabbits 26 to 14, and I'm going to take Cody Walker. I'm going to take Cody Walker to score the first try of the match for this one. I think he'll be up for a big game, and I think South Sydney will go back to winning ways. Now, the next game is an absolute cracker. It is probably the game of the round. It is the Canberra Raiders going up against the Penrith Panthers. Now, this game definitely would have had the Raiders probably around that $4.50 mark. My stepdad even said, what are the Raiders paying this week? Over $5. I said, no, $2.25. He said, what? But the Panthers, they're going to be without Nathan Cleary due to suspension and then Jerome Luai due to injury. So their halves are Jamin Salmon and Sean O'Sullivan. Sean O'Sullivan was the first try scorer in the Eels and Panthers match last week. And obviously couldn't get the job done in the end, but they were able to score a try through Liam Martin. So some good signs for the Panthers that they won the second half in regards to scoring and possession. So a lot of things went their way. As for this game, the Raiders, they're coming off conceding 24 points to the Titans, who, look, they're just scoring points against teams. It's a fact. Charles Nickel-Klokstad has been ruled out of this clash. Semi Valame has been named on the reserve, so Sebastian Chris and Tomoko once again are in the centres. Jordan Rapana returns from suspension, and that looks like about it. The bench is Gula, Harawira-Naira, Sutton and Starling. And then as for the Panthers, you have Charlie Staines once again on the bench with Mitch Kenny, Linu and Sorensen. So, yeah, very tough game to tip this one. The Panthers just a few weeks ago missing some of their stars against the West Tigers. Snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Can they do it again with an understrength side, or can they roll Canberra in Canberra? It's going to be cold conditions. They're going to suit Canberra. It's a home game. They're paying $2.25. They are some big value, the Canberra Raiders. $2 to make the 8. This is a must-win game for them to play finals footy. And I think they're a huge chance. I really do. But I'll tell you what, I haven't actually looked at the line. If this line is plus 6.5, I would be leaning with the Canberra Raiders plus 6.5. I haven't had a look, but I'm going to go the Panthers by 4. I'm going to go the Panthers to win 20 points to 16. I think there are some big name players who can get the job done in the end. But I tell you what, I'm a little bit worried about the kicking game. The halves of the Panthers are quite worrying. And then you've got someone like Jack Whiten, who was kicking 40-20s for fun just 2 weeks ago. So I tell you what, I could get this tip wrong. I really, really could. But I'm going to go Panthers by 4. I do think that Canberra at home will score first. I think the crowd will get behind them. I think they'll be scoring first. They could go out to an early lead and blow the lead. We'll wait and see. But I'm going to go Hudson Young, first try scorer. Hudson Young to score the first try for the Raiders and of the match. So Panthers by 4, but the Canberra Raiders to score first. The next game is at Shark Park. It is a Saturday at 7:30. They are so hard to beat at Shark Park. They have a great record at home. The Cronulla Sharks losing to just the Roosters this season, going up against the Dragons, who were in the fight against the Cowboys, 10 points to 8 at halftime last week at Netstrata Jubilee Stadium. And then a blowout, 34 points to 8 being the full-time score. As for the Dragons, they look unchanged for the most part. He's stuck with the same 17. And it says that next week, Cody Ramsey could be back. As for the Sharks, William Kennedy is out. So Kay Dykes, who is the son of, is it Adam? I can't remember. the top of my head, but former player gets a shot. I tell you what, Lachlan Miller, the Olympian who played against the Titans, who had a fantastic game, is in jersey number 18. I tell you what, look out for him to potentially move into the bench, in my opinion. Just being 18th man, I think it's a bit of a sniff that he could be potentially in that side. Matty Cavallo has been named in jersey number 21. But Connor Tracy's doing a great job in the wing nonetheless. Well, the Sharks, they're at home. This is a rivalry game, the Sharks and the Dragons, the local derby, as some would call it. Tell you what, I was very close to tipping the Dragons to score no points. I was not impressed with their attack at all, especially in that second half. I thought it was a game that they could have scored more points. They stuffed up the multi last week. If you were watching 3 out of 4 legs, the plus, I think it was 18.5 for the Dragons, and they couldn't even cover that. Look, I think that they could be the lowest scoring team of the round, in my opinion. I'm going to go with a scoreline of 32-10. So the Sharks by 22. I think they'll be way too good. I don't see this game being tight at all. I think the Sharks will really run away with this game over the Dragons. I think their season, they've locked up probably 11th spot, in my opinion. And I'm going to go Talakai to score first for this game, but Cronulla to win and win well. The next game is up to Bundaberg in Queensland. It is the Cowboys and the Bulldogs. It is a Bulldogs home game at Bundaberg. Raymond Faitala-Mariner has been named in jersey number 23. The bench is Harrison Edwards, Chris Patello, Joe Stimson and Zach Docker-Clay. As for the Cowboys, Kyle Felt is out, which is a big out for this one, but Hammer Hamiso Tibuafodau returning to the wing for this game. On the bench is Neem, Granville, I believe, is Granville, I don't think he played last week. I could be wrong. I know he was there. Ruben Cotter has been named on the bench once again. I think he could start for Cohen Hess, but we'll wait and see what happens, or Jermaine Stewart-Brown even. But yeah, the Cowboys, they're coming off a big win. But the Bulldogs, they're playing with a lot of confidence. They let the Knights have a lot of possession towards the end of the game last week. Jacob Carraz had a fantastic game, scoring a hat-trick. Yeah, is it going to be tight though? A lot of people think this game's going to be tight. I've seen some people tip the Bulldogs for an upset. They have been playing some pretty good footy, but look who their opposition's been as well. That's what I question. Whereas the Cowboys, you got Drinkwater at the back who's scoring tries for fun. Dearden and Townsend really doing their job. Reece Robson was fantastic to meet him the other day. He has been doing an outstanding job as number 9. I asked him, did you enjoy the Blues camp? And he said, yeah, he learned a lot during that time. But I'll tell you what, I think this game will be tight. I think it will be tight. I think the Cowboys win 13 plus still, but I'm going to take 28 points to 12. I don't think, I was almost going to tip like a massive victory for the Cowboys, and you probably would a few weeks ago, but just the way they're playing around Mick Potter, the Bulldogs should put in a fight, but I think the Cowboys can run away with it in the end. So I'm going to go 28 points to 12. I reckon Cohen Hess will score first. I think it's a bit of a big roughie, especially back in Junior Paulo earlier in the tips, but I'm going to go Cohen Hess to score first. I like the unders here. I've got the total at 40. The total's 44.5. I think it could be 42, 44. So I'm going to go with the under 44 points as one of the best bets of the round. I think I went 6 out of 8 for the total points scored. You would have seen those on my Instagram. Make sure you're following the Entertain House on Instagram. I post some betting tips. I think we had Jack DeBellin, anytime try scorer last week. And then we had either team 1 to 12 for the Rabbits and the Sharks game. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Cowboys here by 16 points. Game for the round sees the Tigers up against the Newcastle Knights. The Knights, they're on a 4-game losing streak. The Tigers beat the Broncos. I mentioned it earlier. I'm not going to toot my own horn anymore. As for the Tigers, it looks like Fanuapol is in jersey 13 as Jackson Hastings' lock time is over. His season is done. Very unfortunate for Jackson Hastings. He's been fantastic all year for the Tigers. He's brought a lot of energy to the club. So their bench is Tom Freebarn, Tyrone Peachy, Austin Diaz and Zane Musgrove. As for the Newcastle Knights, David Clemmer has been overlooked. He was talking about coming to Parramatta. There was a lot of talk about Parramatta by the transfer deadline. Didn't go ahead. So Clemmer has been left out of the side. Not sure what's going on there. Adam Clune has been named in jersey 20. And their bench is Crosland, Saulo, Simi Sasagi and Matt Croker. And then in the halves, you've got Anthony Milford and Jake Clifford. So yeah, I tell you what, the Jackson Hastings being out makes it even more close in my opinion. And I think this is a huge danger game for the Tigers. I think the Tigers, they're playing with confidence right now. They should be coming off 2 wins, arguably, back-to-back against the Queensland teams too. But I just, the Knights haven't produced attack. If the Knights can get plenty of ball like they have in the last couple of weeks against the Roosters towards the end and against the Bulldogs and turn it into points, I can see an upset here. And I haven't tipped an upset technically besides the Eels, I guess, but it's a coin flip game, really. God, I'm going to go the Tigers. I'm going to go the Tigers by 10. I was very close to tipping the Knights here. Very, very close. But I think the Tigers can win. Brent Naden is playing some great footy. I'm going to take him first try scorer. He's scoring tries for fun, just like David Nofaluma did. So I'm going to go the Tigers by 10. But I'm telling you, Tigers fans, don't go into this one cocky. It is a danger game. All right, guys, so we almost hit the multi last week with the over 34.5 points for the Eels and the Panthers. We took the Raiders minus 7.5. We took the Rabbitohs plus 10.5, and we took the Dragons plus 18.5, and they failed us, the Dragons. So let's go again. We're going to go with the Storm head-to-head. They're at home. They're going to beat the Titans. Back to winning ways for the Storm. We're going to go with the Sharks minus 9.5. This is actually my best bet for the week. I think that $1.90 for the Sharks to win by 10 or more points is a steal. I think it will be a blowout match at PointsBet Stadium. I'm going to go with the Eels plus 6.5. If they do lose the game, I think it'll be by 2, 4, or 6, or even 1. Could be a crazy golden point game, who knows. But Eels plus 6.5. And I'm going to go with the riskiest leg here, but I'm going to go with the Panthers and Raiders under 40 points scored. If I can see Penrith winning this game, then I think it probably goes under that total 40 points. It's going to be cold as well. It could be a very, very low scoring game, but we'll wait and see. And that multi there is at $6 odds. Guys, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your tips in the comments, and I will see you guys later.
Subscribe to entertain us.